हेलो। ओके, कुछ तो इंटरनेट इशू है। क्यों? वाईफाई तो कनेक्टेड है। ठीक है, तो मेरा गेम खुल रहा है, खुलने दो। यस, खुल गया ऑलमोस्ट। Okay, let's wait. Alright. Okay, I'm back. चलो स्टार्ट करते हैं आज का चैप्टर, दैट इज चैप्टर 8. देखते हैं कैसा है, क्या है इसमें. ये तो वैसे भी तुम लोग को नहीं आएगा ना, मैंने बंद कर रखा है. कोई ना, चलो बैक. There was nothing I wanted more than to see Adrian pay for what he'd done, but I knew I had to keep my cool for a little longer. You and Caio attempt to re-enter the gala hall as stealthily as possible, but Berlin sneers in your direction as soon as you step inside. So, Caio, how wonderful of you to join us again. Care to share the reason for your hasty departure with the class? Why did we leave? There was a noise in the hallway. Caio and I went to make sure it wasn't an issue. And all clear, the museum is just a bit old and creaky. Berlin narrows his eyes but nods. Very good. He turns his attention back to Adrian, who is wrapping up what might as well be a victory speech. It's lovely to see you all enjoying the arts tonight, despite the circumstances. Berlin watches him with a strange mix of admiration and disgust. If you need anything to make your time here more comfortable, please let me know, and I will do my best to provide it, with the help of our friends in red, of course. He flashes Berlin a calculated grin. I am confident that Berlin and I can reach an agreement that will minimize any harm to the arts, its patrons, and its robbers. Rest assured, getting you out of here promptly is my top priority. Thank you for your continued support. Just keep calm and we'll have you home soon. Tokyo lights up beside you, rolling her eyes. I thought this guy was full of it on TV, but this is unbearable. You think so? It's almost like he admires him for something. Tokyo nods in agreement, raising an eyebrow as she watches Berlin. Berlin might be caught in his spell, but I know a two-faced asshole when I see one. Berlin steps forward, clapping Adrian on the shoulder. Such a lovely speech. What no applause for our dear Mr. Barca. He begins an exaggerated slow clap, and the horses slowly follow suit, eyeing the men nervously. That's better, though I would remind you, Adrian, that while your oratory skills may be exemplary, I am the one in charge here. Adrian bows his head in a gesture of false humility. Of course, apologies, Berlin. However, I must insist on ensuring that all the hostages are safe. I assume Miss Conti is receiving special treatment after her assistance with the police earlier. Miss Conti is perfectly safe. She is upstairs in my office with her fellow troublemaker, Mr. Sato. They had to be separated thanks to bad behavior. Tokyo smirks, lowering her voice so only you can hear. What kind of bad behavior do you think they are getting up to now? The kind we should get up to? Probably plotting their escape. Not that it's going to do them any good. Tokyo smirks as you turn your attention back to Adrian and Berlin. Mr. Sato, the auction director, and tonight's other surprise addition. I see. Well, regardless of any melodrama, I will need to see them. Of course, let's go upstairs to verify that they are both still alive and very annoying. So you'll come with us to facilitate Mr. Abaka's phone call to the police once he's verified their safety. Rio, Tokyo, start working on the way through that wall. The rest of you keep an eye on the hostages. Kaio steps forward, struggling to keep his face neutral as he glances from Adrian to you. Are you sure you don't want more backup? Who knows what Conti and Sato have been planning up there? Kaio was clearly worried about me being in such close quarters with Adrian. There's no telling what those two have been plotting. Berlin sighs, rolling his eyes. Fine, your puppy dog can come along. Hey, bapu. I hope you're decent because you have a visitor. Berlin swings open the door to reveal Gabriel and Sato seated stiffly in Room's armchairs. Say hello to Mr. Abaka. Sato makes a grumbling noise from behind the tape while covering his mouth. But Gabriela's eyes go wide. Adrian, what are you doing here? You two know one another? Of course, Adrian is an incredibly important patron of this museum. Oh, really? Not your crush, or are you only interested in him for his money? That's all women when I are after. Adrian drops to his knees in front of Gabriela, making a great show of inspecting her for injuries. I'm here to negotiate your safe release and ensure all of the museum's assets remain unharmed. The ghost of a smirk flashes across Gabriela's lips, but she quickly hides it. Have you been harmed? No. She shoots Berlin a dirty look. Although if he had his way, there would be a bullet in my leg right now. Gabriela. Your fault. You were the one who refused to cooperate. Gabriela smirks, even more emboldened now that Adrian is in the room. Oh, but I gave you the password, didn't I? There's a flicker of recognition on Adrian's face, but he's distracted by a grumbling Sato. If Adrian realized it was his vault we were breaking into, he didn't give it away. He moves to Sato's side. May I remove the tape? Well, is that necessary? I was hoping we wouldn't have to endure any more of his ranting tonight. Hello, Mr. Stranger. Welcome to the stream. Kaise ho? I'm afraid I need verbal confirmation that he hasn't been harmed. Sato glares at you, wincing slightly as Adrian rips off the tape. Mr. Sato, is it? He nods as he stretches his jaw. Are you hurt? Only my pride. Berlin clears his throat. If you're satisfied now, Mr. Abaka, I believe you have a call to make. Perhaps these two could be allowed to join the other hostages first, as a gesture of goodwill. I imagine a man of your importance would much prefer to utilize his office without an audience. Berlin smirks, tilting his head towards Adrian. Flattery will get you everywhere. Kaio, take our friends here to join the other hostages. Kaio pulls Sato and Gabriela to their feet and, with a nervous glance in your direction, escorts them from the room. Alone with Berlin and Adrian, I willed myself to stay calm. I was confident I'd kept my cool so far, but I couldn't risk doing anything to raise Berlin's suspicions. Not when I was so close to getting what I wanted. So, if you would be so kind as to connect Mr. Abarca to the inspector now. Berlin and I both knew this would be more than just a simple connection. I bit back a smile as I reached for the phone and quickly got to work. Last name twist. I, Continue. Berlin gives you an appreciative nod as you set the phone back on the desk and turns on its speaker. Why don't you do the honors? Berlin grins, leaning back in his chair as the phone rings. Hello, Mr. Abarca. The officer's voice fills the room, coated with layers of distortion. Why does she sound like that? You and Berlin share a knowing smirk. What's going on? Getting nervous. It's a little project of mine. Any calls made to this phone will be distorted on both ends. Mr. Abarca, are you there? Agent's resuming his composure. Yes, I'm here. Are all the hostages accounted for? Yes, the hostages are safe. There is no need for further action at this time. That's great news, sir. Yes, excellent. Who is that? How did you get on this line? With his voice distorted to anyone listening, the professor speaks freely. Good evening, Adrian. You can call me the professor. I'm sure you're disappointed that your secure line has been compromised, but it was imperative that I speak with you. And by routing my call to police headquarters, Seoul has ensured that my signal will not be traced. Adrian looks at you with a begrudging appreciation. Clever. Adrian's praise sent a wave of anger to me. Thank you. It's one of my more impressive hacks. Adrian smooths his tie, turning his attention back to the phone. So, Professor, what is it you want to speak to me about? You're the negotiator. Yes. Well, I'm the man in charge. It seemed only natural that we meet. Well then, let's cut to the chase and talk reduced sentences, shall we? No foreplay. How disappointing. Adrian smirks as Berlin chuckles. Would you like me to describe what I am wearing? You can hear the professor smirk through the phone. Perhaps another time. Adrian leans forward, his smile gone. Good. Now, given my political standing and past tenure with the police force, I'd like to offer you a deal. Surrender at once, and I'll see to it that your entire team's charges are dropped to nothing more than trespassing. You'd only charge us with trespassing? You can do that? You don't have that kind of authority. No one has been hurt yet, and nothing has been taken. There's no reason you can't all walk away. Walk away from this with nothing more than a scratch on your records. A valiant attempt, but Seoul is correct. Whatever your past relationship with the police, you don't have the authority to make the deal. Adrian sits straighter in his chair, his forehead creasing slightly. If you're not willing to negotiate, what is the purpose of this call? I simply want to assure you and the police, who I have no doubt are still listening, that we have no intention of harming any of the hostages. Do as my team asks, and you you'll all be home in time for breakfast. And if you don't, the professor pauses for a moment. I believe Berlin can answer that question for you. Berlin grins, raising from his chair as the call disconnects. Our fearless leader, a fearless leader, exclusive and quiet, with that voice changer, no? Adrian leans back in his chair, tapping his chin with his index finger. So you allowed me into the museum as a negotiator, but have no intentions of allowing me to actually negotiate. Why let me in at all? Why did we let you in? Good question. I've been wondering the same thing. Berlin sneers. I suggest you get used to being in the dark then. Neither of you I own an explanation. Adrian folds his arms across his chest as Berlin smirks. Get comfortable, Mr. Abarca. You're going to be here a while. Berlin, do you copy? We have a problem in the vault. Rio's voice echoes through the earpiece. Yes, what is it? There's no way we can get the doors to retract. At least not from inside the museum. We are going to have to force our way through. Berlin groans and drags a hand across his face. Can I not have just one moment of peace this evening? He turns to you, almost smiling. You did well with the phone call. So blow off some steam. No, oh, okay. Seoul will be right down. Rio, you and Tokyo can take a break. I'll escort Mr. Abarca here back to this admiring. I knew that breaking through a steel wall would be no easy feat. If I was going to get into Abarca's vault, I needed reinforcements. You read your Cairo as you begin to make your way to the vault. Hey Cairo, care to join me in the vault too? You can hear the smile in his voice when he replies, I'm already on my way. Cairo is already in the vault room when you arrive, inspecting the array of tools left by Rio in Tokyo. He gives you a wide smile as you enter. Hey, Rio. I appreciate it. You know you can always count on me. He grins. Plus, I never turned down the chance to play with power tools. You laugh as you turn your attention back to the wall, estimating the location of the control panel. All we need access to is the control panel so that Rio and I can hack it. You got it, boss. Okay. And we have to be careful. We can't risk damaging anything inside. My head knew that the keyboard wasn't in the vault, but my heart still felt like breaking through that wall might be the only way to find it. Kaio placed his hand on your shoulder, interrupting your thoughts. You good? Did something happen with Adrian after I left? Well, he was just as terrible as he always is. Kaio nods sympathetically. What do you say we forget about him for a little while, and try to have some fun? He gestures to the array of tools in front of you with a grin. What's it going to be? I'll take and this one. You pick up a large axe. This thing its weight, and Kaio smiles. That reminds me of when your dad used to chop wood out back for the fire. You can't help but laugh at the memory. He never made it through more than 2 logs before he would complain about his back hurting and ask for your help. Kaio chuckles as he turns his attention back to the tools. Are you? What's it going to be? He picks up the sledgehammer, slinging it over his shoulder with ease, and the gaze catches on the tightening of muscles visible beneath his jumpsuit. He smirks as your eyes drift back to his. Like what you see? Very much. It's one of my favorite views actually. Kaio's smart goes 18. Sorry. Kaio's smirk goes to a wide smile as you lift your axe. Ready? Let's do it. Kaio and I worked in unison, a perfect team, but as our tools rang out against the metal, scraping it away by inch, I felt my resolve begin to break. With each blow of my axe, the walls of preservation I'd wrapped around the memory of that night began to crumble. थोड़ी देर, हाँ गाइस, मुझे थोड़ा सा काम आ गया, अभी आई. Sorry guys, तो थोड़ा सा काम आ गया था. With each blow of my axe, the walls of preservation I had wrapped around the memory of that night began to crumble. We did it. There's the control panel. I had Kaio's words, but it was like I was somewhere else watching the two of us from above, unable to stop myself. My arms ached with the effort of swinging the axe, but as anger and anguish poured through me, I couldn't stop. Hey, slow down, it's done. Kaio tries to stop you, but your body is on autopilot and you continue to swing the axe against the metal. Since the moment Adrian entered the museum, I'd been fighting to keep my rush of emotions in check, to push down the fury and sorrow that rose me. Hello. Okay, Seal, stop. Kaio catches your wrist and the axe falls from your grasp. It hits the floor with a loud clank, pulling you from your spell. But there was one emotion I couldn't suppress, one emotion that had returned to overtake me since the night Adrian first entered my world: guilt. It was my fault, all my fault. Kaio reaches to you, but you step away, tears escaping down your cheeks. What are you talking about? What was your fault? You slumped to the ground, cradling your head in your hands. It's my fault they're dead. You see, it was me who beckoned Adrian Abarca from the flames of hell into my world. एक चैप्टर हो गया, 2 और चैप्टर आज के लिए बचा है ही. चलो. नेक्स्ट चैप्टर. अभी स्टोरी देखेंगे क्या हुआ था. Hi-Fi of the Heist. There are some secrets so painful we keep them even from ourselves. For years, I had to let myself believe the lie that Adrian was responsible for my parents' death. But as anger and sorrow burdened my throat, I had no choice but to finally face the truth. It was all my fault, Kaio. My parents died because of me. Kaio drops to his knees and reaches for you. Kaio reached for me and I... You put your hands in his and he squeezes them gently. What are you talking about, Sio? Adrian never would have come that night if it wasn't for me, if it wasn't for what I did. That doesn't make any sense. He killed your parents because they found out he was selling stolen art. I knew that I had to tell him the truth, but I was terrified. That he would never be able to look at me the same once he knew the truth. You take a deep breath, forcing yourself to look. I was the reason he found us. I overheard my parents talking about a painting they had just bought, something about how the recipe of authenticity seemed wrong. It was when I first started getting into hacking, and I thought maybe I could find something to help them out. It was surprisingly easy to find records of illegal sales, all with Adrian's name stamped at the bottom of them. I was so excited to show my parents the trail I'd found that I didn't stop to think about the one I'd left. Kaio sucks in a tight breath. He traced the hack. You nod the memory of the night dripping through you. Kaio shakes his head. I'm so sorry, I had no idea you'd been carrying this weight. He moves closer, forcing you to meet his eye. But it wasn't your fault, you were just a kid, Kaio. Yes, it was. It was all my fault. If I'd never hacked the database, my family would still be alive. You take a deep breath, steadying yourself. That's why I have to fix it. Your voice has turned to steel and Kaio looks at you uncertainly. What do you mean? I am... I'm going to take back what's mine once and for all. Cairo nods his eye filled with determination. I'm with you always. Seoul, Cairo, how's it looking? Berlin's voice jolts you back to reality. We have gained access to the control panel. Excellent, then get back to the gala hall for a team meeting. Sorry. Cairo watches you carefully as you stand. Just stay strong a little longer. This is almost over. I took a deep breath before responding. Because it'll never be over, because nothing will bring my parents back to life. Before Cairo can respond, you turn towards the door. I could feel Cairo's nerves as we made our way back to the gala hall, but I felt certain in my new mission. I was going to blow up Adrian's life and his entire organization the way he'd blown up mine. Berlin is holding court with the rest of the group when you and Cairo reach the gala hall. Now that the professor has spoken to the police, we need to limit any radio contact with him. They'll be looking for a man on the outside and we can't risk the connection. If we need to talk to him, it will have to be through the police secure line. Our focus now is getting into the vault if we are going to get out of here in one piece. We need that art. Tokyo cocks her head, watching intently as you approach. You're looking a little rough, Theo. Everything okay? I'm fine, nothing to worry about. Just ready to finish this job. Tokyo nods in understanding, but Berlin eyes you suspiciously. If there's one thing I've learned not to trust, it's an emotional woman. You'll stay here on guard duty, where I can keep an eye on you. Tokyo, go to the vault with Rio and continue the extraction process. Sorry, bye-bye. I knew that I was on hostage duty because Berlin was suspicious, but I was still grateful to have a moment free from any surprises. As you circle the room, keeping your distance from Adrian, Gabriella catches your eye. Or so I thought. Gabriella was up to something, but I wasn't sure what. What's it to you? Do you need something? What's it to you? Trying to make friends so you can pull one over on me? I don't think so. You might want to be my friend after you hear what I have to say. Gabriella leans closer, lowering her voice to a conspirational whisper. I've been watching you, and you're not like the others. I can help you get out of this. You don't know me. You don't know anything about me or what I'm like. But Gabriella continues underrated. I can give you access to all the security cameras, including the ability to delete footage. She holds out her keycard, still in her possession after her interaction with the police. You can erase any trace that you were ever here. You shouldn't have that. You yanked the card from her, pocketing it quickly. I didn't bother to tell her that we'd already disabled the recordings, but at her mention of the cameras, my thoughts began to race. I knew this could be nothing but another attempt to cause trouble, but having access to those cameras might help me find the teapot. Oh, yeah. Seoul, do you copy? The professor's voice interrupts your deliberations and you take a step away from Gabriella. Professor, we shouldn't be communicating outside of the secure line. The police could be attempting to trace any signals coming from inside. This is worth the risk, trust me. I need you to go upstairs immediately. I've been looking over the security blueprints and I believe that when the power went out, it disabled the rooftop security system. The police haven't figured it out yet, or they would be up there already. I need you to fix it before they do. Do you want me to help, Professor? It's imperative that we continue to focus on accessing the vault. Seoul can handle this, right? Can I handle this? Of course I can. I'll radio you as soon as it's done. Excellent. The professor hangs up and you turn to find Gabriela watching you with a smirk. Think about what I said, Seal. There's a painting by El Greso called View of Toledo. In it, Toledo sits upon a hill, a shining beacon of hope against the dark and stormy skies beyond. My father used to say it reminded him of how easily a life could change, how one moment your city could be shining bright and the next the storm clouds could ascend. Standing in the hallway of La Perla, I knew I had a choice to make. I could stick with the professor's plan, staying safely within the city's walls, or I could step into the storm. I didn't know it at the time, but either choice would have consequences. Would it be secure the roof? Look for the teapot. Secure the roof. Choose to secure the roof. Despite the ache in my chest, I had a duty to the professor and my team. I'd waited this long to get my teapot back. I could handle a few more hours. You hurry to the stairs and take them two at a time until you arrive at the door of the roof. The security box beside the door is blinking green, clearly unlocked. It was just as the professor had suspected. You reach for the security box without hesitation. Here we go. कुछ तो गलत ही नहीं नहीं हुआ ना मुझे पता था नहीं कुछ तो है हाँ ये हुई ना बात मुझे फिर से ट्राई करना है रिप्ले Yes, 52 से 34 तक आई. Yes, continue. It's done. The roof is secure. Whoever set this up must have been a real amateur. It was a piece of cake. The fisticules. Excellent work, Cyril. I greatly appreciate your adaptability given the circumstances. I know that Mr. Abakas must have been a shock. There's a knowing in his voice that makes you stop in your tracks. But I trust his presence will not create any issues for you. A ripple of unease ran through me. Did the professor know about my history with Adrian? Adrian being here doesn't affect me any more than anyone else. The professor takes a moment to reply, measuring his response. Of course not. My mistake. Now you won't hear from me again until our next call. Until then, proceed as planned. The professor's voice cuts out, but your uncertainty remains. I'd scrubbed any information about my parents' death from the internet. and turned myself into a ghost. The professor himself had said he couldn't find out anything about me that didn't relate to my hacking. But still, as I made my way back down the stairs, I couldn't shake the feeling that perhaps my secrets weren't so secret after all. Okay, just one more chapter. Chalo. यस, आज के लिए लास्ट चैप्टर, और ये गेम कंटिन्यू होगा नेक्स्ट मंडे को. तो ये चैप्टर शुरू करने से पहले मैं ज़रा आती हूँ 2 मिनट. Okay, I'm back. Oh. चलो कंटिन्यू करते हैं. As I emerged from the stairway, my thoughts slipped from the professor's words to the teapot. I had secured the roof. Could there still be enough time to look for it on the security cameras? Sorry. I decided to go to the security office. You hurry towards the security office, but just as you reach the door, Berlin आता है. Did you fall off the roof, Cyril? Get back to the gala hall now. I knew I had to think fast to avoid arousing Berlin's suspicions. Sorry, just had to make a quick detour to the ladies' room. I don't need to know the details of your personal affairs. Just make it quick. The teapot would have to wait, but I knew it was only a matter of time until it was within my reach. With a final look at the security office, you turn and make your way back to the gala hall. Back on hostage guarding duty, I was beginning to grow restless. The teapot was still out there, and time was running out. Berlin? Adrian rises from his seat on the floor beside Sato and takes a cautious step towards Berlin. His expression drips with concern as he gestures towards the hostages. It's been almost 6 hours and people are starting to get hungry. A handful of hostages murmur their agreement, led by Sato. If you'll let me make a call, I can have some food sent it right away. Seriously? I have a better idea. There's plenty of food in the pantry. We can easily make something here without the risk of outside interference. Excellent idea, CEO. Why don't you supervise the endeavor? I'd be happy to. A trip to the kitchens didn't have to be just another task. I realized it could also be a much needed break. I wasn't the only one who could use some space to breathe. किसको ले जाऊँ? चलो नायरोबी को ले जाता है. I could use your help and I think I saw a radio in the kitchen. We could recreate our fireside dance party. Nairobi's smile is so bright it practically radiates. Be good to the hostages while we are gone, Berlin. He rolls his eyes as she gives him a mocking wave, and the two of you head towards the kitchen. Alone in the kitchen with Nairobi, I felt like I finally had a moment to breathe. So, where should we start? She motions to the pantry with a smile. We should probably see what we are working with. Hello, Elysian. Welcome to the stream. कैसे हो? You and Nairobi quickly rifle through the pantry, taking stock of your ingredients. Aren't rich people supposed to eat like caviar and stuff? Caviar, sorry. All I've got over here is a ton of potatoes and a few spices. It's not much better over here. बढ़िया हूँ. आप कैसे हो? मैं बढ़िया. अरे आजा कुछ. हाँ. You hold up a bag full of onions and Nairobi grins. I saw a few dozen eggs in the fridge earlier. What do you say we make some Spanish omelets? As we began to prepare the meal, it quickly became clear that Nairobi knew her way around the kitchen. She diced the potatoes with ease and confidently added spices to the pan. No measuring spoon needed. I take it you've made this before. Nairobi smiles sadly as she adds the potatoes and onions to a large pan, their gentle sizzle filling the room as she sets a timer. It was my son's favorite. I used to make it for him every weekend. She glanced up at me over the pan, seeming surprised by her own admission. I didn't realize you had a son. She shrugs as she stirs the pan. Fig, eh? कुछ वर्ड्स तो मुझे कुछ ही समझ नहीं आ रहा. Feeling nonchalant, but you can see the tears glistening in her eyes. Most people don't. He was taken from me. Her hand shakes as she continues to stir the vegetables. Shakes as she continues to stir the vegetables, and a single tear finally escapes, sliding down her cheek. You reach for Nairobi's hand, taking the spoon from her and threading your fingers through hers. The vegetables will burn. You squeeze her hand, cutting off her protestations. Don't worry about it. I don't really care if the hostage's dinner is a little bit burnt, do you? Nairobi laughs thickly. No, I guess not. She squeezes your hand, moving closer. He was 3 when they took him. Well, 3.5 really. It was just the two of us on our own, and things were great, really great. But I had to leave him alone for a few minutes to go make a deal. I had to provide for us somehow, you know. She takes a shuddering breath and squeezes your hand tightly, as if it's the only thing keeping her from the full pain of the memory. I was gone for 5 minutes. 5 minutes, that's it. He decided he wanted to play Spider-Man. When I got back, he was on the edge of the balcony and the cops were already there. She hangs her hand, tears flowing freely now. They sent me to jail and took my baby boy from me. Oh, Nairobi. Where is he now? Do you know where they took him? They wouldn't tell me, but I found out. He's in the Canary Island with some family who owns a chain of hotels. Wow. Once the heist is over, I'm sure you'll be able to use your new resources to get him back. Nairobi smiles, her expression brightening slightly. You really think so? I do. Suddenly the timer dings and the moment ends as Nairobi turns back to the pan. Oh shoot, the potatoes are starting to burn. She wipes her eyes, her moment of vulnerability over. You quickly scramble the eggs and add them to the pan, and Nairobi skillfully flips the omelets when they're ready. That should do it. What do you say? We give them a try. She hands you a fork, looking suddenly nervous. I haven't made one in a while. I hope it's okay. She bites her bottom lips as you try a forkful, waiting for approval. Well, Nairobi watched anxiously as I tried the omelette. This is the best Spanish omelette I've ever had. Nairobi beams as you take another bite. I guess I've still got it after all. You watch with a smile as she tries a forkful. The two of you pile plates, silverware, and the Spanish omelets onto 2 serving carts before you exit the kitchen. Nairobi turns to you. You know, I'm glad the professor brought you on this heist, Seoul. It's nice to have a friend. As Nairobi and I made our way back to the gala hall, I found myself hoping we select the fastest and safest route to get to the destination, avoiding all the obstacles. Fastest and safest, okay. Tap to select a route. Okay, the arrow corner. You can see where the destination and obstacles are. Tap hint to eliminate the worst route. Limited routes will be grayed out. Okay. नहीं, ये ऑब्स्टेकल है ना? क्या करना है अब? अरे हाँ, ये confirmed. Continue. As you and Nairobi approach the color hall, you are greeted by the sounds of shouting. What the hell is going on? You push open the door to find Berlin and Denver pointing their guns at a red-faced Sato who is being restrained by Adrian. If you think you're going to get away with this, boy, you're sorely mistaken. I'll see to it that you pay for stealing from me if it's the last thing I do. Oh yeah. As the two men snarl at one another, a flash of movement from the other side of the room catches your eye. You turn to find Gabriella rushing towards the side door. Oh no. Tackle Gabriella. You race across the room and tackle Gabriella just as she reaches the door. You hit the ground with a thud and Cairo races over to you as you restrain Gabriella. Are you okay? I'm fine. Though I'm not sure our friend Gabriella here is going to be able to say the same. You're starting to become quite the nuisance, Miss Conti. Berlin crosses the room and yanks Gabriella off the floor, pressing his gun to her temple. Now, how are we going to deal with this little insurrection of yours? Gabriella grits her teeth as everyone, the hostages and your team alike, watches the scene with bated breath. If you're going to shoot me, just get it over with. She swallows nervously, but Berlin shakes his head. I'm not going to shoot you. He smiles as he turns to Denver, disengaging his gun safety and pointing it at his chest. I'm going to shoot him. डेनवर को शूट करके इसको क्या मिलेगा? ओके, एनीवेज आज के लिए 3 चैप्टर हो गया है, तो नेक्स्ट चैप्टर मंडे से कंटिन्यू होगा एज यूजुअल. कल और परसों IRL स्ट्रीम होगा. मुझे ऐसा लगा पता नहीं कितने टाइम से मैंने IRL स्ट्रीम किया ही नहीं. प्रीवियस वीक नहीं किया ना मैंने, हाँ शायद इसलिए. ओके चलो, एनीवेज मिलते हैं कल के स्ट्रीम पे. मैं सोच रही हूँ कल IRL स्ट्रीम, हाँ ठीक है, वो भी दोपहर को ही करूँगी, चलेगा. चलो तो मिलते हैं कल दोपहर को IRL स्ट्रीम में. तब तक के लिए बाय बाय, गुड नाइट. ओ भाई साहब, मुझे नींद आ रही है, बट मुझे खाना खाना है. खाना खा के सो जाऊँगी थोड़ी देर. मिलते हैं, बाय बाय गाइस. बाय, सी यू, बाय बाय. थैंक यू फॉर जॉइनिंग. गुड नाइट. मुझे नींद आ रही है इसलिए. चलो बाय बाय. अरे वाह.